All right, what's up, everyone? I don't normally do these styles of videos, but I figured I want to take time to do this one since this one is going to be all about warlock abilities. And obviously, I think you all know I'm a warlock main if you take a look at the channel. So I want to kind of go over, give my reactions to everything, kind of talk about what they're fixing in here. I actually haven't read anything yet, but obviously, warlock has kind of gotten the reputation of just being like a buddy-based class. They can't really do much on their own. So let's actually see what they're doing. So first things first, they actually write a little bit right here, warlocks and their space magic abilities. We're seeing some great uses of warlock constructs such as Child of the Old Gods, Bleak Watcher, Hellion, Arc Soul, and Onyx Sentry. In the near future, we're planning to enable deeper build crafting with these constructs. Additionally, a few builds are starting to stand out, like Prismatic build leveling Lightning Surge to effectively delete champions at moment's notice. While we're happy with how players are building into the abilities, we also are seeing feedback and working on a handful that aren't felt to be as potent. This limits variety in build crafting, and we're looking to address that. A few strand abilities don't shine as bright as we wish, and a handful of exotics need bug fixes, and we're aware that players desire more grenade-centric builds to feel powerful in in-game content. Okay, so that's kind of just what everyone has just been talking about. Nothing really new here other than the fact that they seem that we're going to be able to build into the constructs I guess later down the line, which I guess is kind of cool. But other than that, that's just pretty much what the whole community's been talking about, but it is good to hear that they're acknowledging it. So while some of the above will take time to address, we're planning for a tune-in pass for Ashfire, and also on its major update 9.1.0 coming in early September. We are still testing these changes, finalizing how everything should work, so some things may shift, but these are our first steps in helping warlocks feel a bit more love for their space magic. Hunters, Titans, don't fret. We'll be back in the next few weeks to discuss more changes coming. You won't be left out. All right, so Hunter and Titans are also going to get changes, but this one's mainly on Warlock, and they want to give them more love of their space magic. So let's actually take a look at what probably most of you are interested in as the ability. So first off, we have an Empowering Rift. So standing in an Empowering Rift now grants grenade, melee, and class ability energy over time, and then final blow, also standing in an Empowering Rift grants bonus special and heavy ammo progress. Okay, that's actually pretty solid. Obviously, most people are going to be running Healing Rift. Either you're running Healing Rift or Phoenix style for the most part. Empowering Rift probably has not seen usage in I don't even know how many years. I know there's probably like some things you could set up with it, but this is actually a good change. So now that you're just going to just generate energy while in it, this already is going to open up new build craft opportunities, especially with class ability based exotics. And then on top of that, you also get more ammo progress, which is also very, very good. So I definitely can see a world where Empowering Rift could actually overtake or at least be equivalent to the Healing Rift now, or Phoenix side, which is good. I like this change a lot. And if you're trying to spam abilities over and over again on, say, something like a boss fight, depending on how much energy this does provide, that could be pretty good. Now, next up, we have Weave Walk. So exiting Weave Walk now grants Woven Mail for you and nearby allies. Okay, that's actually pretty solid. The Woven Mail duration is relative to time spent in Weave Walk, makes sense. Increased horizontal movement on enter and exit, increase fragment slots from 2 to 3. Okay, so honestly, this could be pretty good as well. This is just going to be a on-demand Woven Mail. I imagine you'll probably get like 5 seconds if you just immediately come in and out, which is still pretty good, and maybe you get up to 10 if you stand there for a little bit. The movement, I guess, is cool. It's easier to use, but then the fragment slot going up is also good because the fragment is kind of a limitation with it now. So getting 3 fragment slots could be decent. Maybe you could have some crazy like threatening build come back to where you just build all the Threatlings up into Weave Walk and then send them out with your class ability, and then you also get Woven Mail now when you come out of that, so you don't need Threat of Warding. And Threat of Warding is also not like the craziest thing anymore because it only grants 5 seconds, so maybe this is a way for Warlocks to actually just keep Woven Mail up. I'm not sure. I'm excited to see how that plays out. In PvP, that may be a menace because I know some people really enjoy Weave Walk in PvP. And now the fact that you're going to get even more damage reduction once you come out of it, I mean, that could be pretty good. But in PvE, this seems like a pretty decent buff as well. The next up is Weaver's Call. So this is for Strand and Prismatic. So this now generates Roosted Threatening progress when giving damage of any type, and then threatening damage now returns class ability energy. Works on all threatenings damage while this aspect is equipped. Okay, so I'm gonna be honest, I'm not 100% sure what they mean when they say generates roosted threatenings. I assume it's just the ones that are on your person, but any given damage type. So now I think just doing damage with anything, you're gonna get threatenings, which I thought they changed that with the most recent patch, or the most like recent like Edge Fate patch, but maybe not. But I guess just literally doing any damage now is going to generate threatenings, which is cool. And then the threatening damage will generate class ability sheet. This is going to go really well with the build up here because typically you would go into Weave Walk obviously to make all the threatenings, and now the threatenings that you do make you can release them with the class ability with Weaver's Call. That those threatlings are then going to give you your class ability back, so you can keep this chain going. So this is going to be a pretty fun build here. Definitely see some setups coming with that. Regardless of that, the fact that this also works with Prismatic, if you're playing into threatlings, you can generate your class ability a lot faster. So if you want more Phoenix Stops or even more Empowering Rifts up here because of the buff that they're getting. So there's a lot of synergy going on here with all these three. I'm not sure how potent they're going to be, but I could definitely see what they're trying to cook up. Now, next up is Frost Pulse. So the stasis aspect, so freezing enemies now generates class ability energy. It works on all stasis freezes while the aspect is equipped. So that's honestly going to be very good. I absolutely love Frost Pulse as an aspect. Now, I know it's not the greatest thing, but it's like a super fun aspect to play around. You can just run and freeze a bunch of enemies. Typically, you would run the Fragment. I don't remember the name of it off the top of my head, but you would get class ability energy when you kill frozen targets. So now you can actually just get more class ability when you freeze targets. And I imagine this probably works with not just the Rift, because it just says freeze enemies, so you can probably freeze enemies with anything, a class ability energy. So this honestly will be pretty solid, because I imagine you're just gonna be able to spam Frost Pulses over and over. You can pair that with things like Vesper's Radius, so it releases the Arc Wave also when you use your class ability. You're gonna be able to actually do some crazy things. I'm not sure, like, damage wise, if it's gonna be like you could take this into in-game content or anything, but from just getting the energy back, I think this actually could be pretty good. And then also pairing that with the Empowerment buff, you can get class ability back with that as well. So you could be spamming some Frost Pulses here, which could be pretty fun. And also, Empowering Rift does come out slightly quicker than the Healing Rift, so that will synergize well. But obviously, if you're being very aggressive, you probably want to use the Healing Rift Frost Pulse so you can live, but we'll have to wait and see how that plays out. But I like this change. Now, next up is Pocket Singularities for Void and Prismatic, probably the most useless melee, but now has 2 charges at base, so that's very good. Then projectile lifetime goes up to 2 seconds, so that's cool. It reworked projectile target to favorite targets close to the initial trajectory. Cool. Reduced detonation not backed by players for 50%. Okay, so I was about to say they definitely had to nerf this in PvP, because Pocket Singularity is actually pretty good in PvP now that they reduced the knockback. I think it's still going to be good having the 2 charges, but now having the 2 base charges now just for PvE, and also it's just easier to use. I feel like it's actually going to be pretty good. Now, this melee still is not like the craziest damage melee in the game. They have buffed its damage, and it's honestly not too bad now. But you're typically using this like maybe just to apply volatile. Maybe with the 2 charges, you could do some crazy things with it. We'll have to wait and see. You can just keep spamming them over and over again if you have some sort of build set up. But I like this. This is a pretty cool change. I don't know if it's going to make you take this over other melee abilities, but we'll have to wait and see. It is a good change though. Now, exotic armor. Now, we only have Eunoia here. This is obviously one that desperately needs buff. So increase the projectile damage at max range from 15% to 20%. Okay, so more damage for Hellion, which is cool. Tune distant to damage curve to make the maximum damage distance easier to identify. Okay, easier to use. Increase projectile tracking by around 40%. That is the major buff it needed. And in addition to the primary projectile, the sub projectiles now benefit from Ember of Ashes and Ember of Eruption. Okay, so if you haven't seen on the channel, I actually have made a Eunoia build, kind of like what they're going for here, and it's already like decent. I don't want to say it's like broken or like crazy, it's not, but it honestly is pretty decent. So with these changes, you might actually see that build rise up to the top. The projectile increase is going to be crazy. The damage is obviously nice, but I think the main part here is the projectile increase, which is honestly going to be more damage. And now the fact that the sub projectiles can also work with the fragments, you're going to be able to apply Scorch like crazy, especially with Ember of Ashes, and you're going to be able to cause a lot of ignitions. I'm very excited for these changes. I think it is actually going to make this a top tier exotic. Then next up is just abilities. So Threadlings increase damage versus combatants by 20%, so Threadlings get 20% more damage. That's pretty solid, especially up here with the other Threadling based thing. It seems like they really want us to play into some Threadling builds, so that's obviously nice. I imagine this will also work with any Threadling based thing like Hatchling. But then upcoming fixes. So a few weeks ago, we examined feedback and bug reports for Noble Exotics. We want to provide a brief update on some of these investigations. We've already updated a few in prior patch notes that represent the remaining upcoming changes. The Starfighter Protocol, which has already been fixed with the other patch, Crown of Tempest. So we're continuing to investigate the issue of Crown of Tempest no longer grant stacks of multi-kills. We're aiming to have it fixed by Renegades. Renegades is quite a long time away. So if you're a Crown of Tempest user, sorry about that, because it seems like this isn't going to be fixed until a later date. But I mean, I'm glad it's getting fixed though. But Ramka Raiment, So we're continuing to investigate the issue of Ramco Rayman as generate 6 crystals incessantly apply to devour when Feed the Void is active. We'll believe we're honing in a fix for this with Renegades. So again, Renegades, Ramco's still going to have that same issue. It's unfortunate, but at least it is getting fixed. The next up is boosting the Assembler. So we've confirmed an issue where boosting the Assembler Noble Realms won't work on a teammate that enters the Warlock Rift. Fix will be deployed. Okay, so this is coming with Ashen Iron, so that's cool. That's not too long away, so obviously we can get that. Boosted Assembler, I think, are going to be pretty solid. It's just this bug has kind of made them not good. So hopefully you can actually start building around that later. And with the empowering drift changes and stuff, it could be pretty good. But now Wings of Sacred Dawn. So this is just going to be talking about the, you know, it no longer reloads. They just forgot to include that in the patch note, so it's not getting fixed or anything. It's just kind of talking about it. And the controversial hold, so we've received reports that it's not returned energy expected. Investigation, we believe this to be true specifically with some combatants in the firing range only. We're looking to update the firing range combatants. Yeah, so I've actually been using the controversial hold. It's pretty solid with 200 grenade. I'm gonna have a video coming out about it here pretty soon. So yeah, and you definitely still get a lot of energy back if you're not, I guess, doing the firing range combatants. But then Nezarec Sin, they saw reports of the regenerate buff not working during multi-kills, and they believe that it's been resolved alongside the sprint bug, but they will keep an eye on future reports. Okay, but then in the coming weeks, we're also planning to communicate more about the future of class fantasies. What is it to be a warlock? What are some of the fantasies we're hitting right now, and where do classes need more work? We're excited to show you what else we're cooking, so stay tuned for more info. All right, so that has me pretty excited to maybe try to define the fantasies more. I'm excited to see whatever all of that is about. But I mean, overall, these are some pretty good changes. Like, there's nothing like crazy, I think, that's gonna make what we currently have, you know, get under this. I think what we currently use is so probably going to be the best stuff in the game, but the fact that we can kind of build into constructs, you know, whenever they start talking about that or whenever that comes out, it's cool. But the powering rift change, you know, the threatling stuff here is gonna be pretty cool. Eunoia might actually be pretty decent. Pocket linearity, I don't think it's gonna be anything too crazy, but it's cool to, I guess, get another charge. I'm really excited about the Frost Pulse change. Honestly, this might be the one I'm most excited about because you could do some fun stuff with that. I definitely will have a video coming out about this. But yeah, overall, I mean, these are solid changes. Let me know what y'all think about them in the comments below. Hopefully all these bugs get fixed sooner than Renegades, but we'll just have to wait and see. But I think that is going to do it all for me. Like I said, I don't normally do these types of videos, so if y'all enjoyed it, definitely be sure to let me know below. I can, I guess, do TWAB videos if you like to see that, but I already know there's a plethora of those out there. But I really want to hone in on the Warlock changes. Anyways, that's going to do it all for me. I want to thank you all so much for watching, and I hope y'all have a great day. Peace.